Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are making Christmas cookies for a wonderful Christmas cookie exchange. I will let you know I did actually film this last week, so the Christmas cookie exchange has already happened and it went off like a smash. I got to visit with some lovely friends and I got to bring home some really delicious cookies. The cookies I will be making today are apricot babies. Most people know them as kolaches, and those are from my Grandma Margie. The other cookies that I made are the ones that I took to the exchange, and they are Great Grandma Baker's melt-aways, and they turned out really lovely. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do enjoy videos with cooking and sewing, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Alright guys, for our apricot babies, according to Grandma Margie's recipe, we're going to need to start out with a half cup of butter, 3 ounces of cream cheese, and 1 cup of flour. She recommends putting it together with a pastry cutter, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get mixing. All right, I've really broken up the butter and the cream cheese. And so now I'm just going to get in with my hands and try to bring the dough together. Easy peasy, comes together in a snap. Now the instructions say the next thing we need to do is allow the dough to rest, chilled, for about 30 minutes. So I'm just going to put a lid on so it doesn't dry out in the fridge. I'm going to pop it in the refrigerator and I'll meet you back here in 30 minutes. And we are ready to start making Great Grandma Baker's melt-aways. These cookies are also very simple and yet very classic of the time period. We're talking probably World War II. They fly off of your cookie platters if you make these ones. We're going to start with a half a cup of butter, and we're just going to cream the butter until it's a lovely pale yellow, silky smooth consistency. I started with room temperature butter, and that makes things go so quickly, a snap. All I do is before I get started making sure I have all of my ingredients, I put the butter on the counter. That allows it to slowly come up to temperature and allows it to whip up quickly. To this butter, we are going to go ahead and add 1 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 egg. And we'll cream these together. We'll take time, scrape down the sides of the bowl to make sure we have all of the pieces of sugar incorporated so we don't end up with any lumps or bumps. All right. Beat until fluffy. That looks pretty fluffy to me. So to this mixture, we are going to go ahead and add our dry ingredients. So we're going to add 3/4 cups of sifted flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'll add that right to the top of the flour so they go in together. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which it looks like that's about all that's left in my salt box. I'm just going to kind of gently incorporate my baking powder and my salt into my flour so that I don't end up with a big chunk of anything in the center. My dough is almost complete and incorporated. So to this, we'll add our last ingredient, which is finely chopped nuts. You can use whatever kind of nuts you prefer. I'm using pecans today. And there we are, beautiful cookie dough, ready to go. Right behind me here, I have a cookie sheet lined very simply with parchment paper, and my oven is set at 400 degrees. I'm going to put just about a teaspoon or so, and we're just going to drop them right onto our parchment paper. I'm going to leave a pretty good little gap. These are going to spread a bit. All right, guys, I'm going to pop these into a 400-degree oven for 5 minutes, and I'll meet you right back here. When these cookies are finished baking and pulled directly out of the oven, they'll still be bubbling and they will be very, very soft. Pulling the parchment out of the cookie sheet and putting it onto a cool countertop will allow these to cool, and then from there you can pick them up. As you can see, they're almost like twill, they're almost translucent like lace, and they are so delicious. From here, once they're cooled, you can transfer them to a wire rack or into a container. And it's been 30 minutes, so to a very lightly floured surface, we are going to add the dough for our apricot cookies. And it's very lightly floured because we don't want to add a lot of flour to this dough. We don't want the dough to become thick and craggy. And we're just going to gently roll it. All right, and this is going to be a faux puff pastry, so it's not really puff, but we are going to add a little bit of buttered layers between. So we're going to brush with melted butter between each layer here. We are going to fold in Fold up and over, so we're doing thirds. This is, I think they call this a book turn. Great British Baking Show. I'm going to do another little layer of butter here. Turn it one last time. I'm going to put it right back into my bowl with the lid on, chill for another 30 minutes. All right, we have our dough for our apricot babies here. It has been chilled and buttered and chilled and buttered again, and we are ready to start rolling out the dough and stuffing it with our apricot preserves and folding it up like cute, adorable little babies, which is what gives it its cute little name, apricot babies, because they're like little blankets curled around a little tiny baby of apricot jam. All right, I have my dough rolled out. At this point, if you happen to have a fluted cookie cutter, usually they're used for things like making biscuits. That would be ideal to use. I don't, so I'm going to use a very precise tool, a kitchen cup, which I also think is an excellent resource for anybody who likes to bake but maybe doesn't want to spend on all of the extra gadgets and gizmos. Those are our other cookies. They need just one more minute. I'm just going to use a dab of water on the little side of each apricot baby. That's going to act as the glue. Then from there, I take them and pinch them up to create our little babies. These ones may be a little thick. We'll have to do a test bake. See how they come out. Okay guys, we've got all of the cookies out of the oven, which means we are done baking for today. My apricot babies from my grandma Margie, otherwise known as kolaches to many of you. Unfortunately, quite a few of them did open up in the baking process, and so these ones aren't going to make it onto the plate for the cookie exchange today. They do, however, still taste absolutely wonderful, and so we will be eating them here at our house. Great Grandma Baker's Meltaways, on the other hand, turned out perfectly, and I have my lovely little container to take with me to the cookie exchange, and I also have a little container here for my husband and my kiddos to enjoy tonight as well. They are beautiful, they are lace-like, you can see through them, which is exactly how they should be. They have a little bit of a bend and a chewiness, and you can see these little bits of chopped nuts. And they are so good. I absolutely love these. They remind me of my childhood. They remind me of my grandparents. I highly recommend making them. If you love a little something different to take with you for your cookie exchange parties this year, this is a wonderful recipe to try. I'll leave it in my description down below. Thank you so much for joining me on my little baking adventure today. I'll meet you back here next week with a sewing project. If you enjoyed your time today, please like and subscribe. We would love to share future adventures with you here. Thanks, guys. Bye.